What's up, everybody? I am back with a new Amir Odom video. It's been a while, but this video I really wanted to talk about. It's titled Why Millennials and Gen Z Are Giving Up on Dating Apps. It's been a thing a lot of people are talking about because it's just not only dating scene has just been trash, but the dating apps, they ain't helping matters none. While on the female side of things, they got too many options, and for the most part, sifting through a gargantuan amount of dudes to find like the quote unquote right one. But there's also a good portion of women that are just using it to sell their little OF content or Instagram content, which is freaking annoying, just to boost their own little personal platforms for more followers and attention. Or they're just using it as a game to see how many how many likes they get, or they can talk crap about the guys that try to send them likes and how trashy they look or something like that. So it's nothing but a game for the most part for females, while guys who mostly are looking for genuine connections have to pay just to get noticed. It isn't by comparison to women getting flooded with matches like that. If any, is almost like dead air for a good long time, because it's too many women got so many options on one end of things. They get there's too many guys fall out of the fall out of favor, because girls are looking for the top 10-20% of dudes that just by looks alone they're trying to engage with. So they keep piling on to the same old type of guy. So it's just like, most women find most guys unattractive, and guys struggle trying to get that attention. So it's just like and only people benefiting from this are either the top 10-20% of dudes who girls naturally gravitate to, that getting all this female attention, not gonna more than likely commit to the one, so they're gonna just play the field. And the people who make the apps, who making all this money mostly from the guys, because the girls are not paying for like the super likes or whatever just to get a guy's attention. The most average of the average girl will get flooded by at least 100 dudes trying to get their attention. This is something that guys probably struggle with a little bit more than women, because any basic girl can get attention if she just dress a little nice and just sit in a coffee shop for 1 hour, and there are at least a few guys will try to get their attention. Well, that used to be the case if Me Too didn't ruin the entire thing, that social dynamic. But anyway, I want to see what Amir has to say, so follow his channel, like the video, share the video. I'll leave a link in the description box below if you want to check out the full video. Follow and subscribe to my YouTube and Twitch channel, Talkative Carl, and let's get right into it. It's kind of a long video, so let's hop right to it.
Dating apps are uniquely depressing.
From dating apps making people feel completely disposable to ghosting becoming normal, dating in 2026 has become increasingly exhausting to a lot of people out there. But are the apps actually ruining our ability to connect, or are people just losing sight and not realizing how much effort it does take to build up a relationship? In this video, this is exactly what we'll be talking about. So if you like this type of style of content,
and it's supposed to have been like, maybe at first people were hooking up with genuine connections, but after a while people just using just the get hookups and not utilizing the apps for its initial intended purpose, was to establish relationships. And of course, the people running these apps ain't trying to, because they want to make sure they keep getting more people on these apps paying for the services. So there's I'm not sure how 100% this is, but I think most people will agree that some people run the apps behind the scenes, aren't really linking these people together, especially the guys who are paying for most of the service just to try to get noticed by more women, aren't getting their stuff really connected. Who knows? We don't know for certain, but there is like a strong possibility that these guys are not, getting the initial likes or matchups that they really want, just to get them to continue to, because if they get the matchups, then they no longer need the app, so they're no longer getting more money. So they're losing capital from that. So make sure they keep getting that easy revenue from these sad dudes. I'm not saying sad dudes like an insult. I'm just saying like, it's not an insult. Getting, these dudes who are eager for love and attention and relationships. They, there is like a little bit of conspiracy just to make sure these guys aren't really getting the matchups like that. Maybe on occasion. But for the most part, they're not getting like that matchups, despite how much money they probably fork over. They're not getting the attention that they really seek. On top of the fact that who knows what kind of woman who might be on the other end sees that, it's like no. And usually, cause I've seen on the whatever podcast, they tested it out. Too many girls find too many men unattractive. And you would think some of those, they would probably say yes or no. Because God forbid a guy has a fishing hobby and he takes a picture with him catching a big fish. They think, ew, ick. So it's things like that. It's like guys don't take professional photographs because they ain't like so obsessed with themselves to the point where they gotta take these, crazy photogenic like girls do. It's like guys don't have that kind of mindset. So we're not obsessed with taking the professional photographs, to that same degree. But I do understand, because it is kind of dumb. Don't know why guys, because I seen on the whatever podcast and he tested it out, and I agree with the girls on this. Guys, do not post photographs to put on the apps and your phone is covering your face where you cannot see you, where people cannot see you. That's stupid. Don't take group shots with a bunch of guy friends of yours because women want to know who they're dealing with specifically, especially if you're got attractive male friends that these other girls will probably want more than you. So those two things, I agree with the women on. Not a good idea to post on dating apps. But anyway.
Honest, raw commentary, almost like sitting down, FaceTime, chilling. Be sure to subscribe so you don't hit the next video, and let's dive right into this.
As a gay man with a lot of girlfriends, the two most common complaints I hear from my single friends is, one, that apps have ruined dating because guys never go up to girls anymore to ask them out, which they think is cool if guys have the confidence to go up to them. And the number two thing that they complain about is that it's creepy when guys go up to them because they're just trying to have a fun night with their girlfriends out at the bar. So do with that information what you will, and good luck.
Yeah,
he's about to pop off. I just want to make a point. That also ruined dating, because that's why guys had to go to dating apps, because we don't want our reputation destroyed when we dare to approach women in real life. Now, I do still encourage guys still like get past that and just do what God intended and approach these girls. But I'm not going to sit there and blame them for feeling the way they feel and go on the routes that they take, because too many, not all, but too many, especially the height of the Me Too era, too many men have been embarrassed and shamed for these what it would have been maybe awkward but quirky little interactions, where most guys probably don't have that, savvy, talk savviness to them, and probably not that witty or slick, at the mouth to like just off rip generate a smooth conversation. But most girls used to try to at least give like a good wide berth with that, or at least give some grace on that kind of thing, because they understood there's probably a level of awkwardness to it. That's why girls don't like to be the one doing the approach, because they know full well that they might be a little bit awkward themselves, and they have the most fragile of emotions. So if they get turned down, their whole day is freaking ruined. So that's why they, have this little privilege and, a little bit of arrogance about like, why don't you just be confident? Just go and talk to them. Like, yeah, it's easy to say because you don't have to be the one doing the approaching all the time. It's very rare for women to do the approaching. However, some women fail to realize, or starting to realize, that for the longest time, guys have been shamed for trying to approach women, and they get blasted on social media, or get like these, brushed away for these little idiosyncrasies, these little small little icks that girls used to look past. We're used to think about your grandparents. Your grandma probably will tell stories about how like your grandfather was probably a little awkward at first, but oh my god, it's a little funny little quirk, interactions. And nowadays, those little things that would have been quirky, funny little interactions that you can tell your grandkids one day are now considered icks, and it's like, ugh, god, gross, I'm not even gonna deal with it. And you probably end up blocking your blessing, because like there's too many girls who grew up on these rom-coms, Disney Channel mindsets, these little Hallmark Christmas channel type of mindset, where they want these perfect little stories that they can just tell their friends so they can brag. They have these little main character syndrome, where their love story has to be the epic tale of all time. The moon's gotta align, and it gotta sweep you off your feet, and it's gotta be like a J-Lo rom-com. That's what a lot of these girls got in their mind. It can't be just normal interaction at a simple little library or something like that. He can't just walk up to you, see that you're reading a particular book, and try to spark up a conversation, and she meets you with these one-word response and that F off look on her face. Most women don't even want to smile and be approachable. Guys do not want to sit there and try to engage with a woman and she's got a frown on her face. Most of them. Guys don't know, what kind of time most of these girls are on. So it's a lot of guesswork. If you are truly single, try to make yourself available, because you obviously don't want to sit there and be alone for the rest of your life. I'm not saying you need to give every guy a chance, but at least, try not to block your blessing, because you never know what kind of guy you might end up falling in love with. It'd probably be what's least expected. But because you got an abrasive attitude, mean-spirited, you let your little bird-brain girlfriends like speak for you instead of just, engaging a guy that you might find, attractive or at least cute to try to at least talk to. Don't group think. Think for yourself. Give some guys 5 minutes of your time. in good faith conversation, not these one word responses. It's like, hey, I see you reading Moby Dick. Mm-hmm. You know, like I used to read that in high school. It was a great read. Do you read a lot? Yeah. Like no guy, like why? Well, why would you not like just be a person? Clearly, you're dumb. Clearly, this guy is trying to spark up a conversation, try to make a moment out of this, but you're just like not. It's like a tennis match. He's serving and you just standing there. Let the balls just fly past you. Guys have to deal with that on a constant basis. And knowing your ass is single with a cat, it behooves you to try to see like where this might go. So you don't wake up one day 80 years old drooling and nobody's there to take care of you and you got no legacy. Oh, because you got a stank attitude. There's a lot of good guys out there. And just because they're not like top shelf dudes in terms of status, or they're not like this level rich or got this level of notoriety or whatever, or he isn't coming in a little package that you imagine in your head since you was 12 years old, you want to write them off. You got to give some of these guys a chance. You never know. Y'all know what kind of guy, guys approach you. He's trying to strike up a good faith conversation. At least meet him halfway. And don't shame these men. And then they got the nerve to go on TikTok. That's like, why guys don't approach us no more? You know the freak why. It's like, why are you playing dumb? You've been interneting with the rest of us for God knows how long, probably more so than men. So you've seen the same videos the rest of us have seen. All these girls giving all these little ick lists and shaming dudes trying to approach them at the bar or whatever. It is just, why would a guy want to participate in a dating scene if men are inundated with all that stuff? All that in combination is no wonder they run to dating apps or go overseas, because they at least want a shot. They don't want to give up in totality, but they just want a girl to give them a good faith in exchange.
That's about my insight to being a gay man, is that my bros tell me the dating apps suck. It's hard for them to approach women because they don't want to bother women or feel like a creep. And then my girls are telling me, oh, there's no real men that approach women anymore. I want to be like talked to in a bar. But then also you want to be left alone. And when you're with your girls, you don't want to be talked to. When you're in the gym, you want to have your headphones on and not be bothered. What is there to do? At some point, I feel like at some point it does come down to the women. If we're just talking about like straight men, straight women, it does come down to the women just being more accepting of being approached. I get that there are creepy men that exist and like it can be hard or awkward to turn someone down. But I will say, I think that if you are a woman that wants to date and you're putting yourself out there, you need to be open to be talked to. You need to be in the gym with no headphones on. You need to be walking down the street with no AirPods in, sitting at the bar alone. Like, you need to be approachable. And when a guy approaches you, don't give him an attitude. I've been met with so many attitudes from women before, and I'm like, girl, I don't even want you. The hell, I remember I told one girl, I was like, you are really, really beautiful. I just want to let you know. And immediately off the bat, she was like, I have a boyfriend and I know, thank you. Girl, I was your husband. Like, what are you talking about? Why are you getting mad at me for? I didn't do anything but compliment you. So I get the pushback there, but it's like, damn, something's got to give. We need to give these men
Exactly. And it's like the fact that he's a gay man and just want to give a simple compliment to a girl and just off rip, because there's too many girls trying to make excuses for this crap. Like, you don't know what she's been dealing with prior to all that stuff, and she probably just had it up to here. That's no excuse. You got to take the risk. Guys take risks all the time when trying to approach women. We have to get rejected all the time. That's the risk. So you girls have to take the risk of the fact that there's going to be some, level of creepy dudes that might try to approach you along with the good dudes. You got to, sift through that. Just like we got to sift through you guys. There's risk on both ends, but we got to do the work. We have to go through it. It sucks, I know, but you got to go through it. Hopefully you got discernment and you can read through the red flags but at least give 3 to 5 minutes of time just to engage in good faith, just to see where it goes. If you're not buying what the guy's selling, then you can sit there and write him off. But don't do it off rip. You don't know. And don't have no stank attitude. And then say in the same breath why guys don't approach. You can't have it both ways. It's so weird to have that mentality that you go out, whether you with your girls or not, and you don't want to be approached. But then you go home and get mad because nobody approached you. It's like, you don't know what you want. That's why like, guys make decisions for women most of the time, because most of the time you don't know what y'all want. It goes with the flow, whatever your emotion is on every second of the day. It's like, if you want to be approached, stick to it. Stick on that path. Make a decision. You don't want to be approached, then commit to it. Don't go out. Don't engage. Period. But if you truly want to be approached, then you have to, accept being approached by many facets of dudes and just sift through them. You don't need to give them your entire life, just 3 to 5 minutes of your time, long enough to see if you're buying what he's selling, because guys have to pitch themselves. If you're not, I'm not talking about like counting to the seconds before he leaves. I'm actually talking about giving good faith chance. Engage. Smile. God forbid a girl smile. We need to start telling girls to start smiling more. Back a few years ago, it was very taboo. It was like, oh my God, how dare you tell a girl smile? Yeah, you bras need to start smiling. We gotta, even females need to start telling females to start smiling more. Why you got a freaking grumpy cat face going on every doggone time you're out? And you got the nerve to ask why guys don't want to approach you. Guys don't want to be met with attitude. Women don't want to be, approached with attitude. Can you imagine a guy approaching a woman? No, matter of fact, how about this? When a girl tries to speak with a guy, and how would you feel if the guy like, yeah, okay, and give you stank attitude? Not like in a, bitchy way, but just like he had like a badass mood, like he was having like a badass day, and then he put that on you for daring to approach you, for daring to approach him, kind of thing. Like it was like a huge bother that a genuine person is trying to engage in conversation with you, and you and that person bite your head off. That's how us guys feel when we are trying to approach a woman, whatever location, and then are met with attitude. Like, what the fuck we do to you? It's just like you're supposed to be the empathetic species, but you really not practice what you're preaching. But let the dude be top shelf good looks, then that that goes like away. That's that's just the nature of the beast. But I'm just saying, you gotta like shed that hard exterior. I don't care what kind of crap you've been through, you're gonna have to drop that. If you truly want to find somebody, you're gonna have to drop that armor. And maybe not all the way, but just enough for 5 minutes of good conversation. You never know where it'll lead to.
Some type of wiggle room to work with. Because I do think as a man, you should be out there approaching. Gay or straight, it don't even matter. Like I was that type. Like I will approach you. To this day, like if I see somebody, I will give them a compliment no matter what. Hey bro, I like your shirt. Hey, your hair is really cool. Hey, nice shoes. Like it doesn't hurt to compliment somebody. And I feel like society collectively, we all yearn for community. We all want to.
And honestly, I think guys, appreciate compliments a little bit more than females do, because women get compliments all the time and they treat it like just another day of the week. When a guy gets a compliment, whereas from a guy or a girl, it really makes our day. It's like late last month, I went out to the Pokemon Fossil Museum in Chicago, and a guy's compliment my National Treasure shirt, and that really made my day, because I was like, thanks man, like it's like that was a good moment. That was a good moment. And it's just like, guys, and it doesn't hurt to compliment. I didn't meet the guy with attitude like most women probably would have. If a girl is like wearing something nice, it's just like, I don't even know if she actually really receiving that thank you, or receiving that compliment truly, and not just treating like another dime a dozen compliment. I don't know. But at the very least, don't, meet the guy with attitude or wave him off, or, just, I don't know, just half-assed, emotion. Like, yeah, oh my God, your life is so important. You just did not want to be bothered for a few minutes of a genuine person trying to engage with you in real life.
To be more nice, more approachable, more like cohesive together, but no one actively does the work. Like, no one jokes around with other people, no one gives compliments anymore. Everyone's too to themselves. It's an interesting type of world that we're living in, but off the bat, something's got to give in this dating world.
One of the reasons that I don't use dating apps is I think it leads to a lack of self-accountability. Having access to that many people makes everyone else disposable.
Yes and no. Yes, there being a lot of people on a dating app can make someone like feel disposable, and I can just get the next one, I can get the next one. But if you're in the mindset that you're not gonna find like a carbon copy perfect example of what you're looking for in that moment, if you don't have superficial standards, if you just keep it realistic with yourself, then you understand that that's always going to be the case. Like, there's 8 billion people on this planet. There's always more people out there, but it's about just finding your person right then and there. And your person doesn't have to be perfect. Like, I've seen a lot of my friends swipe on these apps, and I'm like, you're using it wrong. I don't like her hair color. Her hair is too short. I don't like her style. As if none of those don't change. There's girls been like, oh, I don't like that he's bald. What do you think is going to happen if you get with your man now, then he turns 35, 40, and he's losing his hair? What are we doing here? Oh, he's not 6 feet, he's short. Okay, and Zendaya found her dream man, and she's towering over her man. Like, y'all be immediately, like, it'd be the same people that want to date, that want to find somebody, but then wants to sit here and have all these superficial wants and needs for a human, and like want to complain about being single. You're single because of your standards. You're single because of what you're looking for. You're not looking for real love. You're looking for an archetype of what you think is love, what may look.
I'm not saying there isn't guys out there like that who might have some weird, image in their mind, what kind of chick they want, but there's more compromise, way more compromise with guys than is with most women, because most women are doggedly, rigidly, want to stick to a imaginary dude in their minds, and that's who they want, because they want that creme de la creme type of dude. And if a guy who might meet most of her standards but falls short on one or two other things, so many girls write that kind of guy off because he's not perfect. He's not a perfect little unicorn of a man. And on top of that, the ideal man has to accept any BS that comes with her. She probably don't need to do any changes or whatever, no matter if she got a nasty attitude, she might be overweight, she might be like a gold digger, or she might have some kind of promiscuous past. That guy has to accept everything from her, but she doesn't need to change. She don't need to move with intention, none of that stuff. Because if the guy she has in her mind doesn't accept her in totality with all her baggage, then he's not no real man. It's never really on the other end of things with on the flip side. Like, guys don't want that much. We probably got like 5 or 6 things on the list. Collectively, us guys can unison agree that's the most important stuff that we're looking for in females. But if the girl falls short on 1 or 2 of them, we will probably let that slide as long as the majority is fulfilled. At least the key points, like sexual loyalty to us. She's cute, is loyal, and not a bitch. Those are probably like the top 3 things that needs to be a thing with any girl, don't be a bitch, be loyal, and be cute. And it doesn't need to be a top 10 of her looks, but it has to be at least 6 upwards to maybe 8 in that realm. And we're chilling. So what? She doesn't cook. We'll figure it out. DoorDash, maybe she can learn eventually how to cook, or the guy will just cook himself, or we'll just find relatives to cook for us or something. Whatever. The guy will figure it out. Because as long as those other 3 criteria is met, those are the crucial ones which any woman on this planet can fulfill. It's not like a hyper-specific, niche group of women that only knows how to do this. Any woman can be loyal, not be promiscuous. Any girl can, well, not any girl, but ideally sees 6 and above in looks. Of course, guys ideally do not want like ugly. No one wants to deal with an ugly person. I'm just going to be flat out and to say that. Ideally, both men and women don't want ugly people because they want to find like decent looking individuals to procreate with. But guys don't want a 10 out of 10 because that comes with its own set of problems, because those typically be the entitled, bratty, gold digger types. And that definitely won't be loyal, because those types will monkey branch indefinitely to anybody who probably are higher status than the guy. And youthful. That's another thing. Like, youthful, decent looking, loyal, not a bitch. As long as you fall in those 4 categories, anything else guys will let slide any day of the week.
Good to you, but not something you want to build with. And that's what you should be looking for, that foundation to just say, okay, it's okay, they have this trait, this trait, this trait. We can move on from there. They're open-minded, they're kind, they're driven. Cool. Everything else we can discuss later on. Not to say your whole goal is to change someone in a relationship, but no, just understand that you're not perfect either. And you guys are going to grow together. And there's these things that will always inevitably change. I don't like their style. Style changes. I don't like their hair. Hair changes. Like, don't get stuck on the things that are like undoubtedly going to be changing in someone. Like, that's so silly to me. So yeah, to some people, the dating apps made other people disposable, but if you're going in there, if you're using the app with the mindset that, oh, I can find someone else, you're never going to find someone, because there's always someone out there. Like, that you're just, and it's a never-ending circle.
Well, that is someone that exudes toxic behaviors doesn't ever have to break that pattern of toxic behaviors. It's the typical, if I'm too much, I'll find someone else.
And those people shouldn't date. If you're that type of person, you're not mature enough to date. If you just think that, oh, well, she didn't like me, it didn't work out, so I'm gonna find the next person. No, like, you have to understand you're not perfect either. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna have to grow with somebody. You're gonna have to deal with somebody calling you out on your shit, being real with you. Like, that's what a relationship is. And so you can't sit here and move through life and just get with someone who's, you can get with someone who's like a yes man, a yes woman, and then 30 years later down the line, you hate yourself. Sure, we're seeing that play out. I'm 30. I see that playing out with some friends right now. I'm like, oof. Some of these relationships, y'all, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. But if you're not emotionally mature enough to be dating, then you probably shouldn't be dating.
Behaviors disrespect or hurt someone, they can just go right back to the swiping realm of the current dating apps. Hence why everyone has now become disposable when you are using dating apps. This leads to no self-accountability. This leads to no self-reflection, internal work to become a better person.
Yeah, I can see how that happens. I can, but again, that's for like the emotionally immature people. That's for the people that are on these apps that have all these superficial ass expectations of what they're looking for. That the people that can't take constructive criticism, the people that are literally using it with the mindset of, oh, well, I'll just find somebody else. Like, if you're actively in that mindset, you're admitting to yourself, I can find somebody else. You're a part of this crew that has made people disposable, and even you yourself are disposable. But if you go in there with intent, if you go in there with, okay, I'm looking for like my person I can vibe with and what does it grow together, does it be super perfect, and like, it doesn't have to have all these checkboxes lined up. No, you're more likely to find success on a dating app. Like myself, like many friends around me who have found love on Tinder, on Hinge, on Bumble, and they're married, happy families. It's beautiful. But the one common thread we all share is that we used it with intent. We were very real and upfront up first. Like, there was never any games.
They can just use chronic dating as a distraction from that internal work, which then in return puts them deeper into their toxic patterns of behavior, hurting more people who could be good people with good intent, taking those people out of the dating culture. So those good people now are hurt and they're trying to heal.
And that's
And like typically those people with that mindset are, when it comes to the men, it's probably the F boys who are like top 10 in looks and probably got some kind of, edginess to them, zero F's to give kind of attitude, which girls tend to gravitate to. They will mess that up for a lot of people. And then in turn, those, especially if they not even just engaging with the top 10 type of chicks, but also like the mids, the girls who are mid in looks, they, are messed up. And on top of that, probably have like an inflated ego now because, oh, I banged this F-boy doctor, so, but clearly he wanted me, so my, tier is up there. So anybody who's not like the level of a doctor or more, I'm not going to sit there and engage with that because, my ego is inflated. So those girls are, messing up because people with good faith intentions, who probably isn't on that level in status, are trying to date with intention, looking for true love. They're not getting any play because their minds are screwed up because the kind of guys they mess with, whether it ended on a good note or a bad note, it doesn't matter. They were able to engage with, top flight dudes. And once those dudes were done and they send those girls back to the streets, they're back on these apps, and now they're trying to find the next doctor or the next athlete or the next businessman. Because, they didn't practice some discernment and jump on his meat stick before they realize what his intentions are and see if they will be a legitimate item. So now, because a lot of girls confuse sex with true love, it gets all entangled, or sex with relationships. Oh, I had sex with him, now we're together, kind of thing. But once those guys kick them to the curb, now it's like, their ego's bruised, they got an entitlement. Now they got like this chip on their shoulder with guys, all that stuff, and they're on these apps, and they dismissing dudes left and right until they found the next doctor or the next athlete, blah blah blah. It's all screwed up, and the top 10 dudes out there are screwing this up, and these entitled women are screwing this up for well-intentioned men and women as a whole. Which those type of top tier men and women should not be allowed on apps because they're ruining for everybody. Because they don't even need those apps. They have no problem engaging, especially the top 10 men. They don't have no problem necessarily engaging with women. They know women flock to them in real life more often than the average dude, and they can just pick from the crowd, which I'm not mad at. They probably built themselves up to be able to earn that privilege, but they are ruining for the rest of us who are just average, are just trying to find like somebody, but they not only messing with top tier women, but just the average girls. They just want to get their rocks off on a basic Tuesday that they're bored. So that's just like, okay, you gotta leave some for the average dude.
True, too, because there are just bad people out there. And there are people out there, especially, I would say so, more in men, that just attach themselves to a relationship, attach themselves to a woman, gain that control as far as like, oh, you can work from home, oh, you can do this, and then never work on themselves. And they're just like a shell of a person. Because they just grew up having to be attached to a woman. There's so many men out there that have never experienced being alone, and they can't even be alone. And the second that they are, they lose their damn minds. That does exist. So these men ain't off the hook either, but off the bat, if you're using a dating app, it needs to be used with intent. It needs to be used with seriousness. No, hey, what's up? No, hey, I like your profile. Here's everything I'm looking for. Is this you? Like being very, 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 very bold and upfront.
The reason dating apps don't work is the same reason people end up falling for their coworker after a couple years. Like, this shirt is obviously very funny.
Your coworker is not hot. They're just within 10 feet of you 40 hours a week. That's fair.
But in a way, it's incorrect. Your coworker is hot precisely because you're within 10 feet of him for 40 hours a week. This is well established in research, by the way. It's called the mere exposure.
Well, yeah, once again, we used to be able to ask people out on dates that we work with. But once again, because of Me Too kind of ruined everything, because now HR gets involved. They got to be notified if these two get into a relationship, like, you know, just to avoid any potential backfiring, especially if the guy or the girl happen to be in a higher position than the other, but guys gotta walk on eggshells because we're around each other all the time, more so than strangers. We know each other's idiosyncrasies and our mindset. We have inside jokes and all this other stuff. And the guy probably wanted to ask, like Brenda, that works in the grocery store with him on a date, but he has to, be careful how he words it and find the right time and see, if she is down. But also, there's also a mindful, because both parties have to, if she rejects him, now there's like this awkwardness where it could just like, it shouldn't need to be an awkwardness, but now it's like, oh, he put himself out there. Now it's not just a simple co-worker situation where nothing really needs to change. If he's not being weird, you don't need to be weird. You don't need to put him on blast or feel self-conscious or worry what he might do, whatever. And he should not have to worry about like you potentially going to HR because what you think he might do or what he might have said. As long as he wasn't being an idiot in his verbiage, he clearly was trying to engage in like, hey, I want to take you out. I think you're attractive. Like, we worked together for a good year now, and like, I think you're pretty, and I want to see where things go. Doesn't need to be awkward. And you work together long enough, you should know this guy's character well enough to say like, okay, he's never been like a weirdo, or he never caused problems at work, and he seems chill, blah blah blah. So you can, even if you turn him down, you should know full well like this guy's probably not going to trip. Especially, he's not going to potentially ruin like the likelihood of ruining his livelihood, his income, is very next to none. But it can't be just a simple thing, because there's plenty of people who got married, happy long relationships, and they worked with each other. It happened. I've seen it happen quite a few times over the years. As long as like the girl doesn't make it weird and actually give it like a good shot.
Effect. It's why they can get you to like a song by playing it over and over and over, and it's also why you're more likely to buy something from a targeted advertisement the 20th time you see it rather than the first time. Advertisers literally have metrics for how long it takes you to warm up to a product, so why would people be any different? Well, it turns out they're not. Dating apps kind of feel like they're filled with meh people because it's effectively asking you to decide immediately whether or not you swipe left or right.
Okay. Again, you may feel like dating apps are filled with a lot of meh people, but I'm very curious because I've yet to come across a friend besides the one that are married. But my single friends now, when I've like watched them behind their shoulder, like I want to see you use the app as if you're alone. Their definition of meh people is absurd, and it's embarrassing. Like straight men too. Straight men, the gays, the girls, everybody across the bat. Their meh is absolutely wild. What they're willing to write somebody off for is insane. Again, the clothes, the hair, the height. I'm like, oh my gosh, like all of these things can change. And I'm not one to say like you have to lower your standards. No, you can have standards. You can have a belief of like, I want this type of person, but damn, like, you're not always going to find that. And just because you're not always going to find that doesn't mean you're settling for less. No, again, the foundational stuff, because, oh, well, I want someone that dresses super nice. That's not, to me, that's not a real thing, because that person can grow and then learn to dress, or learn, like, I don't want to start dressing up anymore. Like, those things can change. Go for the foundational stuff. That's what you don't want to lower your standards on. Because I do feel with as much people as there are on the dating apps, I'm hard pressed to think that, oh, a lot of them are meh. No, there's a lot of people who are using them wrong. There's a lot of people who are not using dating apps the right way. They're taking advantage of them. They're just using it to hook up, whatever it may be. But the serious people, they're out there and they are finding success. But I mean, she is right to a certain extent. Like, yeah, these dating apps are forcing you to swipe right, swipe left off of pictures and prompts. And that's not really how attraction works in the real world. But again, even understanding and knowing that that's not how it happens in the real world means that maybe we should be giving a little bit more grace. Because
my advice, if you're using a dating app, especially if you're a guy, look at the photos first. Make sure they meet the, like, once again, don't try to seek a 10 out of 10. Not ideal, whether it's a man or a woman. But look at the photographs first. You know, make sure there's like at least one full body photograph that you can at least gauge. You know, it's like, all right, he might have a dad bod, or she might have a pudge on her stomach, but it's not obscene or it's not over the top, so you can probably work with that, whatever, like your physical standards are, as long as it's not crazy. There gotta be some wiggle room when it comes to that, but get a clear idea of the person, their face and the body, and then look at the bio, see if it aligns. Like, oh, you like to explore the city, or you like to hike. Just make sure they don't have kids if you're not choosing to rocking with anybody with kids, just to see. Like, check the bios. Don't use it as like a good like jumping off point. At the face and the body, you can rock with. Then check the bios to make sure that this person isn't potentially insane. Guys, if the girl has a bullnose ring, or she got political crap in her bios, like free Palestine, or like no lefties or no righties or whatever, like if they have to put all that extra crap, don't be bothered with it. I'm not sure about you ladies, but probably the same thing. Like, do not engage with people who got to be all extra with that, because they're probably left-wing lunatics more than likely, especially if they got bullnose rings. Not saying every woman with a bullnose ring is crazy, but there is a consistent pattern. So guys, if you see that a woman, especially if it's like heavy metal ones, like, swipe left. Sorry ladies, it has a negative connotation at this point. Take it out. Don't do it. You do. If you're sane, you do not want that image in random people's heads, because other people have ruined that because they're crazy, and it's like a correlation between the bullnose rings, the scepter rings. There's a correlation.
Yeah, it's obvious. Sometimes it does take seeing someone's mannerisms in person, their sense of humor, how they treat people, hell, just spending time around them more to understand like how things will click and how they are just as a person. And again, I'm not saying that to say that you should abandon your standards. No, have your standards, but also understand that people grow and people change, and that it's like some of the standards you have are things that this person can grow into, especially if it's not like a diehard stance. If it's something minor, oh, that can totally come and go. But I don't think that we should be using these dating apps, as someone who has found success on a dating app, we shouldn't be using these dating apps and just like dismissing people off the bat for frivolous things. If you talk for a little bit through the app and you see like you're very bold and upfront and they have the foundational stuff, then cool, kick it with them. Some people do need time for that genuine connection to grow and develop. It's like how friends can get together after so much time spending together. They're like, oh, I think I might actually like you. Building this connection with someone happens over time. Becoming your best self happens over time. Changing your life happens over time. And that's what I feel like people forget. I mean, one of my first dates, I remember telling, my now husband, telling him how I dip my cookies in water and eat my cereal with water. And that's something you didn't know. I definitely do that. I make the best cookies. You dip the cookie in water. Oh, with some crushed ice. Oh my gosh, so good. Honey bunches of oats with water, amazing. But I dip my cookies in water because I'm lactose intolerant. If you know me and dairy do not mix. And it's for that reason I was surprised to learn that today's sponsor, Cowboy Colostrum, contains only trace amounts of lactose and is generally tolerable with people who are lactose intolerant.
Cuando necesites una comida casera hecha.
Hundreds of doors, and like you're in one of them.
Replied back, which means now they have the power to ghost me and f up my night. Checking my phone like every other half a millisecond, waiting to see if they replied back already. This always happens to me on dating apps like Cuffed or Hinge. I was at peace before I did that, and now I'm in a state of anxiety.
That's so sad. I've definitely been ghosted before. I've been stood up before. It is not a fun feeling, and it's an experience that I wish people didn't have to go through, and I wish it's something that people stop doing. Like, there's no point in ghosting somebody. Now, there is, let me know in the comments below.
Oh, and here's another thing, like, ladies, because as much as there are ladies who cannot stand guys who have their profiles with their phone straight up in their face where they can barely see their face and see who they're dealing with, us guys do not, we don't want to see excessive makeup or filters on your apps. There gotta be a couple pictures of your natural face so we know who we're looking at. We wanted to see your bare face with no makeup and no filters. I know there's fun and it's cute, but if you're promoting yourself on an app, guys want to know who they're engaging with. Because if y'all match up and he meeting you in real life and he has a false perception, or after y'all do the do and you take off the makeup and you look drastically different to the point where he is not rocking with that no more, and you get mad at him because you said, send him off on a false perception, then it's bad all around. Or because you misled. You gotta have at least a couple of pictures of your bare face so that way guys can judge accordingly to make proper moves to whether or not to swipe left or right. At least that's what I have done, because I need to know who I'm dealing with. I'm not dating the makeup. I'm not dating the filter. I want to see the person, warts and all. Because more often than not, it's the flaws that are the most attractive on a person, ironically.
While you hit the subscribe button, let me know in the comments below what you think about this idea of ghosting, because I have heard that not replying on a social, not replying within the dating app, that's not ghosting. So if I don't know you personally, then I'm not actually ghosting you. I can see that a little bit because it's not.
There's been a couple of girls that probably had kind of like a slightly big nose, but it's kind of cute in a way. I seen that, like I met women like that with kind of like their nose was kind of either like kind of cute and tiny or kind of big, but it's just like it's kind of like when certain dogs are ugly to the point where it's cute. It's kind of like that, where it's like, wow, that is like a quirky look, but it's kind of cute. It's one of those things. Humans are wild that way, where we find things, the weirdest things attractive sometimes.
Like, especially if your inbox is flooded, you can get back and respond to every single person. But I do think a true ghosting is if you make plans, or you say you're going to make plans, or you meet in person and you just completely cut them off or block them. That's just wrong. You can man up, own up to your actions, and just say, hey, I'm not feeling this, and cut the person off. Like, you can do that. But the people that actively ghost, and if you feel attacked right now and the shoe fits to someone like you petty. You're petty. Like, there's no need for you to be ghosting anyone in life. Again, I can understand maybe if like your inbox is super filled, but if it's gotten to like, I can give cadence to that. If your inbox is filled, like you said hi and I never got back to you, I wouldn't consider it a ghost. So you just never replied. But if we're having full on conversations and you just dip, we make plans and I never hear from you again, we have a first date and I never hear from you again, that's just wrong. And I don't wish that on my worst enemy. I don't. And I'm sure that can be really discouraging for some people out there, especially getting ghosted 1 to 2, 3 times, especially after first date. That makes you not even want to use the dating apps anymore, not go out and date in general, which is unfortunate because I wish more people just kept it real and kept it blunt. And if all of us collectively are going to complain about the dating world, but then you are a part of the problem and you have these superficial expectations, you be ghosting people, you have all these like read rules and icks, you're actively a part of the problem too, and that needs to change. Guys too, if you're just using the apps purely just to hook up, but you want to complain about, I wish I had a girlfriend, but all you're trying to do is smash, get your priorities in order.
Dating apps are uniquely depressing from a guy's perspective because you send out all these likes, then only a fraction of those likes turn into matches, then a fraction of those matches respond to your message, then a fraction of the girls who respond to your message you have a good conversation with, then a fraction of those good conversations turn into planning a date, then a fraction of those planned dates actually happen because sometimes things fizzle out in the planning process, or sometimes people flake the day of, and then a fraction of the dates that you actually go on are worthwhile because either you're like not attracted to the person when you meet them or you guys just don't click. And I'm sure it's not all rainbows from the girl's perspective either.
It sounds like a universal experience for guys and girls. That's pretty much how the apps work, at least the basic ones like Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, where like it just dwindles down from like the amount of likes to matches to conversations to dates to actual dates, and after the dates it does scale down a lot. And for a lot of people out there, maybe if you watch this video right now, it has become increasingly depressing, and it's actually not even a joke. Like, it's actually depressing. Like, it's actually affecting your mental health, making you feel less worth about yourself, making you feel like you have problems when in reality it may be the person that you're dating or the person that stood you up is the problem. It's really having a toll on people, and it's making.
I personally believe we need to start bringing back arranged marriages, because that will nix this horrible dating landscape. Because say what you will, humanity a long time ago, because around like what was it, 30s, 40s, definitely around the 60s, where we gave women the option to choose who they want to date without the opinions of the father or whatever, or the family. Love who they want to love, choose who they want to date. It all spiraled into this mess now, because leaving it to women's devices doesn't, for the most part, have not bear fruit all the time. Because if it did, there would have been like a higher success rate in marriages and that rarely end in divorce. Because the bulk of the marriages end in divorce, and is a majority of it initiated by women, and for the most frivolous of reasons, because most of we gave no fault divorce on top of that. So there's no incentive to actually get married on a guy's point of view, because a woman can just, after 10 years, after 5 years, can just like, I'm just not happy. Oh, I'm bored. Oh, I was not fulfilled, and end the relationship just like that. Because we understood, the mindset of women that, they tend to be self-destructive. They nearly always choose poorly. And you might disagree, but just look back through history here. We got like a good ample of a sample size. Nearly all women have messed around with a supposed narcissist, an F-boy, player, some bad boy, part of a woman beater, a guy, a psycho, a sadist. They end up engaging with guys that had this bad boy quality that she thought she can turn around or benefit from, but it always backfires. and she turns down or turns away from the guys who she deemed as boring or lame. Fathers and father figures always be the ones to step in to choose the man for the daughter. Or at the very least, two families can come together as like, oh, you raised your daughter to be a proper, or your niece to be a proper wife. She's well mannered. She isn't dressed like a floozy. And our son or nephew or grandson, oh, he got proper education. He has a good job. Well, he got a level head. We raise him with proper manners, and I'll be a leader or a man. Okay, let's put these two together. They don't have to worry about this nonsense dating landscape. Everybody knows this girl isn't out there playing. Neither one of them out there playing the field like that. But definitely, she's not out there messing around with X amount of dudes. Her body count isn't out there yin yang, screwing up her mind and her emotions and stability. So they ain't gonna potentially ruin the relationship. We need to start bringing that back. Because I encourage people who have kids to try to do that for their children when they get of age, or at least prepare for that. So that way, by the time they reach 21, 22, get ready for college, they can start, but maybe not marriage, because marriage in of itself has gone, out of sorts, but at least getting long-term relationships. Here's Patty, here's Jonathan. We set y'all two up together. Just I know they kind of sucks the romance out of it, but that can grow eventually. What matters is making sure that both parties' needs are met in the long term, so that way you don't have to sift through the dating landscape from X amount of people with a wide array of just off-kilter mindsets that could be a potential danger to either one of you for whatever reason, that might screw up your perception of people in general. You don't have to sit there and go on these unnecessary dates, unnecessary dating apps, having to see, a wonder or question this person is, in it for the right intentions, because both parties have families, and friends of families can give you you can trust each other, that, oh, I know this girl's family, so I know she's come from good stock. Proof, social proof. That's what I was looking for. Both parties have social proof that, oh, I know this dude isn't some kind of F-boy. I know this girl isn't some kind of floozy, because I know each other's families and friends. So, we can at the very least, go on a couple of dates with each other and see what transpires. As opposed to going out there blindfolded, not knowing what kind, because people put on airs. They're always bring their representatives on the first few dates, while we gotta wait X amount of months to see if that mask fall off and see what kind of real person we're dealing with. We don't have to worry about all that stuff. It cuts the middleman. That's just my at least that's how I would do when I have kids. I will just cut the middleman and make an arranged marriage and just get it out the way for my children. Because I do not want them to go through that horrific landscape, especially if I have sons, because I personally want sons. I do not want them not to deal with this bullcrap, and especially some psycho girl that might end up ending the relationship over some frivolous little mood swing and take half their crap. It definitely isn't got a body count, higher than her social security number. Don't want to deal with that. and no respective father would want their daughter out there potentially messing around with guys that, you know, she shouldn't be messing around with, or at least having a body count out the wazoo. Keep their purity intact and like have a dude in play for her, so she don't even have to have that comparison in mind, like, you know, oh, he hasn't got the same money as Brad that I met in college, or it's like, his, you know, D game is kind of whack, unlike Jonathan, who really, you know, folded me like laundry, you know, on my trip to Barbados. Like, she don't have to, none of that stuff. There's no comparison. She can build a tight sexual relationship with this man, only body she knows, and on top of that, surround the girl with good-mannered women, marriage-minded women. Do not let your young daughter, granddaughter, niece around bird-brain psycho girls who encourages breakups or has a chip on her shoulder when it comes to men. And definitely don't have her hanging around with feminists, because that definitely ruins her perception of men in totality, and having her pick improperly or judging men improperly or have these weird icks, you know, instead of reasonable standards, that gives her a hard time finding a proper man. And definitely have respective brothers, male cousins, grandfathers, uncles, and a father, so she can have a good foundation to start off with, what kind of men she ideally needs to be with. Because if a guy she come across falls short of those examples, she doesn't need to engage, let alone be in a relationship with that kind of guy. That's just my take.
People, again, delete these dating apps and not want any part of it, which is sad, because I do find that these dating apps can provide a lot of good value. And there are new apps popping up. Like, I've heard there's like this video only app, and I know there's Cuff. I think it's Hinge that's making like a matchmaking service, not really an app, like an AI matchmaking service. So there's new ones popping up, but I mean, this is a lot of time, especially for the straight guys out there who are having to front all this money on all these dates. And then you hear stories about women using Tinder dates as pregame, so getting a free meal and a free drink, and then going out with your girls after. You're part of the problem too. Like, that's actually bad.
I don't care.
Yeah, and that's another thing we can easily avoid with, you know, arranged marriages. Guys don't have to worry about being used or finessed out of their money for free drinks, free dinner, whatever. While the girl is probably messing around with a guy she actually likes that doesn't do any of that stuff. Both parties know they're dating with intentions and know they're single, and nobody's talking with anybody. Because you don't know what kind of a girl you're engaging with, who might be talking with 3 or 4 dudes that you are not privy to, and you have to present yourself to be the, you know, best out of those 3 or 4. It's like, no reason will do, no self-respecting dude need to do all that. I want to go out because I'm single. I want to engage with a woman who's single. You know, like, I don't care, like, oh, we're just talking. No, I don't want you just talking, because you sit there going to be like cherry picking or making comparisons and like, you know, like, no. You know, if you go on a date and it isn't like working well out, end it. So that way you can come on the next day completely single. There's nobody you're engaging with. That way you're putting 100% focus on one person at a time.
How single I feel, I don't care how lonely I'll ever get, I am not downloading a dating app, bruh.
Bruh.
It ain't happening. It's not happening.
This is exactly my friend, like my very, very close friend, my bro. This is him. Not him, literally. Like, my friend's feelings are the same way. He's like, I'm not. I refused. I won't. And I keep trying to force him, and he needs to take better pictures, and we just spruce up his profile, but he's so against it.
Will never be the dude or the person that's just swiping away, trying to find somebody to meet up on an app, online.
It can
Listen,
work.
I get it, right? I get it. You want.
like, hey, do what you want if you still want to utilize the dating app, fellas, but don't stop engaging in real life. If you're out and about at a grocery store, cafe, whatever, and you see a pretty girl, do not get discouraged because she's around her girlfriends. Okay, you have to get past it. Plow through that anxiety and just engage. Just don't be weird about it. Don't say nothing stupid. Just go over there, introduce yourself, say like, "Hey, I saw you over the way. I just want to introduce myself. I thought you was kind of cute," and like, and just strike up a conversation with her. And I know it's kind of tough because most girls don't want to give proper, like I said, like a tennis match, back and forth, serving back and forth. But try to strike up a conversation. And girls need to respect the guy, because you want guys with confidence. That takes a lot of confidence, especially if you're around your little bird brain girlfriends who try to vagina block you. Don't let them speak up for you. It's like, sorry, she's already blah blah blah. Like, you like, shut up, Sheila. God, let me hi, I'm Sheila. Thank you for like coming over. Like, not many guys post nowadays. So it's nice to meet you. You said your name was blah blah blah, 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 blah. And then just like let it spiral. Don't let your girlfriends ruin things for you. I don't care if you're out and about with your girlfriends. If he's not like too weird looking and he's not a complete a-hole in his delivery, and he's meeting you respectfully, engage in conversation with them for at least for a few minutes. The guy approach you with some straight up confidence. Most guys get deterred or discouraged when you girls are around with like your flock of friends. And especially if you're single, then it wouldn't hurt giving 3-5 minutes of your time to that guy if he's meeting you with good faith. So guys, still go out. If you see a pretty girl, don't. If you see her, don't. Because I learned this from like Dr. Orion Taraban, because he mentions this. If you're out and about and you see a girl you think is pretty, don't let it sit, and you'll tend to overthink if you ponder it for too long. If you see a pretty girl, don't let it go past a minute or two thinking about it, because the anxiety will end up creeping up. Just go over and talk. It might not work out, but don't be weird. I'm gonna say don't be creepy, because more often than not, guys are not creepy about it. But don't be weird. Just introduce yourself. You don't need to try to come up with some slick little line or whatever like that, because more often than not, you're not good at that. Just be yourself. Go over there, introduce yourself. Compliment her on her jacket or her outfit or hairstyle or necklace. Get a good jumping off point in the conversation. Hopefully the girl will meet you halfway instead of just giving you one word responses. You got to do it. You never know. It might bear fruit, but you got to at least use all the tools at your disposal, and that includes engaging in real life.
To meet somebody, everybody does. If we're being honest, everybody does.
And honestly, it is a numbers game, but if you do that approach in real life more often, that even if you do get a no, you're so like used to it, it's like it will roll off your back. It's like, okay, cool, no matter, because it doesn't matter. One girl says no, the other girl says no. Eventually, by 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th woman will eventually say yes, because you're approaching. You don't need to do any kind of slick talk or come with some weird, one-liner. Just talk normally. Engage, introduce yourself. You never know. But hopefully you're not dealing with some weird broad that has some nasty attitude.
I had somebody ask me this the other day, where I'm at right now. How do I feel about being single right now? Honestly, there are days when I love being single and there are days when I hate it. If we're being truthful. But I'm not going to go get on a dating app and try to meet somebody just by some pictures that I see.
Why not? Like, especially if like y'all are both looking for somebody, you put yourself out there. It can be really helpful and simplify it for a lot of people out there. We're like, oh, see this person, boom, hey, you love your profile. I want to know more about this. I would love to talk to you like on the phone or on FaceTime so you can plan a date. Cool. Have a FaceTime chat. Cool. Hey, Friday you free? They say yes. Okay, cool. I'll pay for your Uber. Meet me here this time, this day. We're gonna do this, this, and this. That's it. Like it that has gone down the right way for a lot of people. Now, there's way more people talking about this, not having success, not even wanting to try out the apps, but to just like crap on it off the bat, just it's not working for you. I don't know. But again, I'm a little biased because it worked for me.
Today, a lot of it is because of dating apps. A lot of it is because that people are getting instant gratification. People are trying to spark up a chemistry by looking at somebody's pictures.
Which you can't do. Again, if we're all gonna like acknowledge that this is a problem and like the way people treat dating apps is a problem, then we all should acknowledge, hey, let's look at this differently. Let's use the dating apps differently. Like there's so many people complaining about it. Even people that are on the app complaining about it, then like, hell, it should be easy to identify, hey, what am I doing wrong? What are you doing? Talk to your friends. Like, how do we collectively, like, usefully use these apps? If we all can acknowledge the bad about it, then damn, I'm confused as to why so many people don't want to help fix it up itself. Because at the end of the day, it's you. You own the profile. You make decisions.
Pictures online. They're making judgments and assumptions based off, oh, this guy looks weird, or this girl,
which is wrong.
She looks funny in her picture, so, she's probably a weirdo. What are we doing, bro?
That is wrong. And if you are someone that's like that, you are wrong. Like, that's not how you should be using the app. Like, if you're actively doing that, do you not feel like silly yourself? Like this guy's talking about, like, where do you...
I understand where he's coming from, but there are certain things that people do on these apps that give a bad perception that might turn people off. Like I mentioned about the septum rings. Sorry, more often than not, people with women with septum rings have a little kind of a few screws loose. There's too many examples of that out there. So not when I personally see that, I was like, I'm not going to engage with it because it's you can't ignore the red flags. Because like sometimes those red flags can help you avoid certain pitfalls. If certain things that guys do that shows that he might be an F-boy that girls might see and it triggers something, don't even engage. More often than not, it's probably going to be the same thing. Do not follow, do not fall into those pitfalls, okay? Like there are things that people will have on those profiles that it's like, yeah, that's a red flag. Too many people who behave like this more often. We can't like make the exceptions the rules, okay? Sure, not every person with a septum ring is crazy, but too many of them out there are. So I'm not going to sit there and try to roll the dice on this one woman with a septum ring being the normal one. So, sorry, ladies. If you have a septum ring and you're normal, take that thing out. Or at least don't, have it in the first place.
You doing, bro? Oh, her hair looks funny. Or, oh, the way she's dressed. Look in the mirror, fat. Like, y'all be wanting a baddie, but you don't look like a baddie. And then the girls, y'all want a Chad, a Prince Charming. Sweetie, you're giving a 4 on a good day. I'm going to need you to take a peek at your 1s, 2s, and 3s, and 4s. I'm going to need you to do that. They need love, too. There's so many people out there right now who act holier than thou. I'm almighty, and you ain't. Your attitude stank. Outfit stank. Body stank. Keep it up. Keep it consistent. Like, the unrealistic expectations, the superficial shit, the real petty stuff, like, that is disgusting. Especially, like, I'm sorry, like, I will attack men real quick. If you're a grown man, oh, bro, I don't like that outfit she has on. Bruh. You look busted going to Walmart the other day. Like, what are you doing?
We gotta go back to the time where we gave people the benefit of the doubt. We gotta go back to the time where we want to meet people in real life, where we want to spark up a conversation, where we want to, happen to meet somebody organically.
And I want that to be a thing too. But again, like we talked about in the top of the video, we need more people to be accepting of this happening. Like, I know one guy friend, I've seen him do it a lot. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, that's hot. Like, he'll literally see a chick and will like just walk up. Hey, excuse me, you're really pretty. Do you have a boyfriend? And then they say yes, he walks away. They say no, like, well, can I have your number? Like, he's very bold, very bold. We need more of that. We're at a restaurant and our server was very attractive. We get back to the car. He said, hey, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go inside. I'm gonna get that server's number. We need more of that energy. You see somebody in the coffee shop, excuse me, hey, like, yada, yada. Like, I told my homeboy, I'm like, okay, if you on a run and you see a really attractive girl, like, play it smart. Let me put y'all on game. Let me put y'all on game. Because if I was a straight man, I would be slaying the game right now. I would be crushing kitty cat, okay? Here's what we're gonna do. Here's the situation. You are on a run, right? You running, you trucking down the path, and you see a baddie come running past you. Here's the deal. You running, y'all lock eyes, boom. You stop. You stop dead in your tracks. You put on that brake. Say, excuse me. I just wanted to let you know that you are very, very pretty, and I hope you have a great day. And you just run. Don't look back. Nothing. Just keep running. Because let me tell you, what's going to happen is either A, she's taken, and she's going to be like, okay, and like, you're already gone, so it's not even like, you didn't even give her the room to respond and say that she has a man. She's going about her day. B, she's flagging you down, say, hey, excuse me, like, thank you for that, yada, yada. Or C, she's like, oh, wow, okay. And she goes about her day, and the second time y'all see each other on that same route, she's going to say something. Boom. And then the reason why you're going to stop in your tracks as soon as she walks up, because you don't want her to run by you, and then you turn around and say, hey, excuse me, because then you feel it gets a little weird. Oh, you're looking at her ass. You make her feel tense because now, like, you're behind her. But if you're in front of her and confronting her and then going about your day, oh my gosh. Stuff like that. Y'all need to be doing, the men need to be doing stuff like that, okay? You see a baddie in the gym, you're gonna go up to her and say, hey, look, apologize for interrupting your workout real quick, but I feel like collectively in 2026, we're all complaining about the dating scene and more people want to meet people in real life. So I just want to approach and let you know that you're a very attractive woman. I'm proud of you for putting in good work here in the gym, and I hope you stay consistent on your goals. In the event that you're single, maybe we go on a date. If not, I totally get it. If you're not interested, that's cool. But I just want to let you know, leave that there. I hope you have a good day. Walk away. I'm a big advocate for the walk away and let them come to you. That way you not just standing there and they have to reject you in person. No, because
that is smart. That's a smart thing to do. That's a very, very, very good advice. On top of that, other advice I heard, when you see like a good looking woman at the gym, if you happen to be walking out at the same time, because most guys are too worried about like, oh, she's like kind of in the zone right now when she's on the, Stairmaster or whatever. If y'all leaving out at the same time, you can, when she's not like, busy or whatever, you can like, stop and like, excuse me, and like, I saw you inside, like, and you can follow this example too, like, hey, like, you was really, like, man, like, you was really crushing it in there, or whatever, you don't have to put that part because it'll make it seem like kind of weird, like you've been ogling her or something like that the entire time without saying nothing. But you can just like, hey, like, I noticed you're in there. I just want to say, like, man, you are very gorgeous. I just want to let you know that my name is blah blah blah, and I just hope you have a good day. Like, or do you come often? Like, or something. Strike up a conversation out there. That way, you got like a good moment between you two. That I heard is pretty good advice. So that way, it's not that awkward. You don't have to run the risk of like her feeling some type of way and ruin the gym that you go to when you come back, because cause the gym situations with a lot of these girls kind of ruin it for a lot of guys, and that's why guys are a lot worried about approaching women in the gym. So one of the advice I heard is just try to strike up a conversation outside the gym when they're leaving, so it's not like, oh, you're not worried because she's seems like in the zone or busy on the thing, and you do it out right outside the gym and try to strike up a conversation. But what Amir is saying is pretty smart too, especially with the whole running thing. That was pretty good.
One, it helps you if you have a fear of rejection, but then two, it helps that person because they don't want to like reject a man in front of them, you know? So I'm a big fan of the walk away, but I'm a big fan of just telling people what's on your mind. See something, say something, okay? You see a baddie, tell her she's a baddie, walk away. Like, it's possible for women to come back up to you too and approach you as well. So that's a little game for y'all. I would tear up the scene.
I told Hinge that I was a white woman just to see if I'd get a different dating experience, and I didn't stop there.
Wait a minute.
I'm white.
This comes after I saw another young lady say that she did the same thing on either Tinder and Hinge, and it stopped giving her bums, quote unquote. So I was like, I want to see what would happen.
Okay, this gets into this is a whole separate video I can make, so be sure to subscribe. But this gets into the whole like preferences in dating and racial preferences, which I do have another video coming out about why there's so many black men attracted to white women, or even black women attracted to white men. And a lot of it is just due to cultural differences. That's what a lot of it is due to, because we can all admit that black culture, the black community locks itself into the ideological box, hence like the black card being a thing, or stand with us, BLM, Black Lives Matter. Like blackness is like this one set box. It just is. And there's people that branch out of it. There are, but it's easier to say if someone's a black person, it's way easier to just like stereotype them into like the type of music that they like, what they like doing for fun, types of food they eat. It's easier to stereotype a black person than it is a white person in the sense of the culture itself and how much it's exposed. And that sounds very racist and bigoted.
Sorry, I'm sweating. Like, it's just hot in here. I don't want to open up the window because people working on like, it was like a big storm this morning and tornado warnings, and a lot of people was, you know, dealing with broken trees and it's loud outside. And I don't want any bugs flying in here because I don't want to deal with that crap right now, especially when I'm streaming. So I'm a little warm right now. But yeah, I don't think it's a good idea to be dogmatic about racial preference. If you meet a person who's not of the same race and you're rocking with them, rock with them. And I often met people, especially in college, black people who are really into heavy metal or just rock music in general. And it's like, yeah, it's cool. It's like, you know, you don't need to put yourself in this little stereotypical box. It's like a lot of people are multifaceted. It's plenty of white people that's like really into rap and R&B. It's not that big of a deal. Hell, there's plenty of black people who's into country music. So it's like if you end up rocking with, if a black man is rocking with a white chick, he's not like going against the sisters for daring to go date outside his race. It's part of this particular girl who just happened to be white, that they're jiving well with each other and going to be probably living like a very happy life. But he isn't like downplaying black women as a whole. Matter of fact, you know, if you remember Alfonso Roberto, who was Carlton Banks on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I'm not sure he's still with the woman, but he was in a long marriage with a white woman. And he, like many other famous black men who had dated white women or married to white women, noted how, like, growing up, you know, black women curved him too much or called him corny or lame. They just wasn't F with them because he wasn't that stereotypical black thug. And so when he got a little bit more notoriety, worked on himself a bit, and met up with a woman who just happened to be white, who liked his style, like, you know, his energy, and wanted to genuinely be with him. And now he's smiling, big happy family, Christmas, you know, PJ, you know, photographs and with the family and all this other stuff. And then so many black women got so much to say about that. Because it's like, oh my God, and like, you know, he must hate his mama or something. Like, no, this is like, y'all know full well there's, you know, there are women, black women out there who talk, and I'm pretty sure you're probably were the same women that you have some kind of absent-mindedness all of a sudden, that you probably talked a lot of crap about guys, called them lame and boring, and as soon as they date outside their race, oh, you must hate black women. No, they just either found a woman who might, rock with them that happened to be a different culture than you, or they just got sick of being just mistreated and found somebody who doesn't see them as lame or boring. They actually have genuine interest in them as a person, and not some kind of stereotype that you try to, push on him. That is a thing. And it's weird that guys don't talk crap about black women who date outside their race, typically white men, while, there isn't the case on the other end in most cases. Matter of fact, when black women see another black woman date a white man or marry a white man, oh, good girl, your credit's about to go up. Oh, like, they're giving all the praise in the world, like it's a status symbol. Because it's all about like what the woman can get out of the situation. It isn't about the actual person itself. They think it's like, see that white man as a status symbol or something, or what that black woman can get. Oh, no more bums. You ain't danging those little N-word bums and all this other stuff. All this like negativity spewing out of their mouth on that end, and then also, got another set of gripes spewing out when it comes to a guy who generally just like this white girl, or like this Asian girl, or like this Native American girl, and it isn't that deeper than just because they like the girl's vibe. But they have this, at least most cases, have this misconception he did it out of maliciousness, because they would, because they projecting, because they would deal with a person outside their race out of, not all the time, out of some level of maliciousness, because they are jaded by certain F-boys that happen to be black that they choose at the end of the day. So they bitter, and they figure like, oh, I'm about to come up with this white dude that will save me from my problems, and we can live in a nice little neighborhood, so she can just get in her soft girl feminine, and all that stank attitude just erases away that she gives black men, but switches up with the white guy. That ghetto trashness kind of ebbs away once they deal with Bradley. But Marcus got all that, ghetto attitude. It's just like, it's a weird phenomenon, honestly. In most cases, guys, black guys not switching up when dealing with, like, he always is what he is. Alfonso ain't switched up and got all hood by the time he got with his white wife. He's always been who he was. Just most black women, he probably grew up with, wasn't feeling him. And just kind of a thing. As long as, but I say this though, black guys don't sit there and talk crap about black women as a whole. If you're on social media and having to explain yourself, which you shouldn't have to explain yourself, but if you have to explain yourself why you choose to marry outside of your culture, just say specifically, like, yeah, these particular black women gave me so much crap in high school or middle school, and I went to college and I met Samantha who liked me for me, and I'm in a happy, stable marriage. Because these particular black women that I was surrounded by growing up in my particular school or particular neighborhood wasn't giving me no play or talking crap about me. But all that changed once I got into college and started meeting other people, other cultures, and I eventually met my future wife. Don't disparage the entirety of black women, because that will definitely trigger them.
To say out loud, but like, coming from my own experience, it's low-key not, because as a black person, like, we used to get bullied for stepping out of the black card box. Oh, why are you talking white? Why are you acting white? Listen to white people music. Da-da-da-da. That's what it is. So people, these dating apps have racial preferences, and a lot of people uncheck black. because of black culture. And even then, like, there's like even black people that would turn off white people because they want to like blame on a black queen. But again, look at Zendaya. Okay, black woman found her white man, short white man at that. Found love. That could be your scenario too. Now, while I understand racial preferences, I'm not a big fan of them. I never had them checked. I have racial preferences in that, like, I prefer dating white people because they're more down to explore different things, different parts of the world. They have more experiences. Like, let's say music, we love like the EDM, the rock.
I had this saying back in high school that I told my friends that, my dick don't discriminate, so neither do I. So, like, I will rock with any, girl, doesn't matter her race, because I don't really care. If I genuinely like her character, she's cute, hey, I'll rock with her. She happen to be a white girl, okay. She happen to be Asian chick, okay. Doesn't matter with me. As long as she got, like, a good character, a good head on her shoulders, I could give less of a fuck what kind of race she is.
Like, we have more in common than I will say a black counterpart, but I never wrote them off. I never just said, oh, they're black ill. Like, no, that's wrong. Or the Asian ill. No. Get to know the person first. But, I mean, it comes to no surprise you're going to see different pool of results when the apps itself, you can structure it around, like, what type of race you want to date. So it's not surprising either. And in these dating apps, there's a lot. Yeah. These dating apps, there's a lot you can filter out, even like political views. And even for me, it's like, when I first met my man, I was a raging liberal crying in the streets with BLM. So what if he had like no libs? I wouldn't be around. He wouldn't be my man. I wouldn't be having this channel, So I think we have to understand some people change. We do. Especially because I will say politics is a little more like on the foundational route, but I was like an open-minded lib. I was like, yeah, I'm more liberal. But
and don't like, in terms of political, like, I think more Republican or conservative people are more open-minded, especially the men. Sorry, like I said, it's kind of hot in here. More conservative men are more willing to give liberal women a chance, a good faith chance in a dating landscape than is the other way around with liberal women. Liberal women are less likely to give a good faith chance to date conservative men because I think they have a innate fear of a possibility getting their political views changed if they engage with a conservative man. And I ain't talking about like crazy conservative, like, super gun nut type of guy. I'm talking about just an average conservative man with reasonable values, that, having to agree on certain things on the Republican side and just, reasonable, but just having to be conservative. And she's worried that, when the topic of politics comes up, she might get her mind changed or forced into things that she just will be very dogmatic and not trying to change a view on. Especially if the man's supposed to be the leader, because definitely conservative men, or even moderate in most cases, are, because women, no matter what political space you are in, you, no matter what you say, want a guy who is the leader, who will, and that you want to trust and follow in his decision making. And if you're dealing with a guy who is conservative, he's gonna come with certain expectations that you're gonna have to follow. And those liberal girls are very scared of having to deal with that. They just rather not deal with that in totality. They would rather avoid it. So they want to deal with liberal dudes, which is fine. But those kind of guys, I don't want to just label them as all betas, but those guys are not gonna always, if ever, hold those girls' feet to the fire and put her in a place where it needs to be. She will more than likely walk over those kind of guys. And There's been cases when girls do deal with conservative guys and they kind of get attracted about their boldness, the way they carry themselves. They put their foot down. They have they have a backbone and have boundaries and tell that girl how it is. Undercover, low key, subconsciously, that is a turn on for them. No matter what they say, their body language will always go naturally to that because that is a man. And most liberal dudes don't have that energy. They fall in line, whatever the girl says, they betas. That's like, they tend to be like walked all over by those kind of girls. Like, whatever you say, dear. It's like, happy life, happy wife, or happy wife, happy life, that little mindset. And sure, in the short term, they're all rocking with each other. It's like, I found me a good man who is liberal and he doesn't judge me on my past and all that stuff. Yeah, because it was hard for him to find a chick, so he will bend over backwards to make you happy. Do whatever it is you want to do, because he having a hard time finding girls out there. So he got you by the skin of his freaking teeth. So of course he's gonna bend over backwards to make sure you're happy, not hold you accountable where it needs to be held accountable. So when it's time for him to be a man, hold his ground, hold you accountable, do the things that he needs to do as a man in the relationship, it's going to be very wishy-washy at best, and he needs to be decisive. And you don't want to make all the decisions. You want him to take charge. You going to want this man to be a man. There's going to be a time when that happens. And you're going to be turned off by this man at some point. And you're going to probably end up cheating on him. You're going to get into arguments with him. He's not going to, you'll be hard pressed to hold you accountable. You're going to probably dismiss him. You're not going to sit there and respect that man. It's not in all cases. It's not every liberal dude. But there's a good crop of liberal dudes that are very much betas, very much simps, that you girls will dog walk all over, and in the long run, that relationship will end in misery. And that's why most of those girls would rather be alone and take charge. I gotta learn to do it by myself because I can't trust no dude. No, you end up with beta bitch dudes that don't put you in your place every now and again, who can't take charge and be decisive, which deep down there's a turn on for you. That's what you truly want as a woman, biological woman. You don't want to admit that. You think you know better. You raised to be like the man and the woman in the relationship. And it just doesn't work. You can't let go of the reins. You gotta control everything. You can't rest in your feminine because you can't trust the guy that you chose, because either he's a simpleton or a monster. Instead of just a level-headed dude that will stand on principle, and you just got to accept it as the helpmate in that hierarchy.
Open-minded to hear different ideas and thoughts. So that's supposed to be part of the foundational aspect of being open-minded. So that was fine. But I do think some of these preferences on the dating apps are preventing people from finding the true love of their lives.
I am okay to finish my life being single. Being single.
Come on,
hey,
that's not gonna happen.
I would rather die as a single man, having never gotten laid before, than wife up a lady who's absolutely contentious, who makes me want to sit in the corner of my roof, who makes me want to run out into the desert and die there.
Proverbs 21:19.
I would rather be single for the rest of my life, because that sounds so much better.
I do think single is way better than being locked into a marriage that you rushed into. Being in a marriage just because you have a kid. Being in a marriage just because you wanted something to show for Instagram.
Don't get married. It's like very much at the belief at this point that marriage is not an an ideal circumstance for men unless you're really religious. In a secular world, it's ideal to just be in a long relationship. That the girl can, both the man and the woman can call each other husband and wife, but not actually go through the ceremony or legal route to make it quote unquote official, because it only benefits women. Let's just call a spade a spade. It only benefits women. It doesn't really benefit men. You can't come to, because Brian from whatever podcast asked this with a lot of panelists on this show. None of them, no matter how religious the woman is, can give a concrete reason, a good reason of why marriage is a good idea for the man. What benefit does it have on the man? Because whatever answers they come up with, it only sounds or is beneficial for the woman in the situation. And don't get me started with the whole no fault divorce scenario, because that further adds to there's no incentive for a man to get married, because at the drop of a hat, too many women can, because 80% of them kept divorcing. It's supposed to be death do us part. Guys understand that if we divorce women, it's definitely for a solid reason. The 20% of dudes who did the initiation of divorces, if you look into them, it's extreme reasons. Like the woman's a psycho, tried to kill his kids, or there was assault in play, or she's on some kind of severe drugs he's not trying to kick. It's severe cases. We broke it down to the bare essential, those critical reasons that, I gotta drop this chick immediately because she's a freaking psycho. Otherwise, guys grin and bear it for the most part because we understand duty. But now it's reached to a point where guys just do not want to deal with the headache. Look, all the stuff that you get in a marriage doesn't, nothing's changed really, but the label. The girls keep telling me like, oh, it's for the woman's security. Oh, so it's just another thing for the woman. It's for her security. So you don't care about the man's security, because he tends to be the one that lose out on everything. And a lot of those girls on those panels be telling me like, well, there's gonna be times where whatever she, the guy chooses to leave her or divorce her. The statistic doesn't bear that to be the case. The majority of the time, guys don't just end relationships. Even if he cheats, he still comes back to the main chick. Guys don't just drop relationships unless it's under extreme circumstances. So we end the relationships left and right just on frivolous reasons, the same degree as women. It's just like we stand to lose way more than the woman. There's too many girls in a relationship over like, oh, I'm bored. Oh, he works too much. Oh, it's just like, he financially abused me. Like, I'm just not happy. And it's granted. And depending on how many years she's been with that guy, and definitely if there's kids involved, she takes off rip half his crap that he built up more often than not without any help from a woman behind him thing. She didn't earn any of that stuff, but she will off rip get half of his stuff. It's just like, no, guys ain't falling for the okie doke anymore. You got the court system will have to put something in place to incentivize or guys to get involved in marriage, or take away something to remove the incentive for women to leave relationships, which I think is probably more optimal. Remove certain incentives like no fault divorce, or at the very least put a caveat on that no fault divorce, where it's like, okay, sure, you can get your divorce. How long has it been? It's nearly 2 hours. Sure, like you can file for divorce under these circumstances. You can't just say, oh, financial abuse. No, what specifically when it comes to finances is an issue. He agreed to pay the bills in the house, but he's been lacking for X amount of months or X amount of years. Yeah, okay, he shows instability. Okay, that's fair. Guys will probably, any reasonable guy would like look at that as like, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, the guy has been lacking on that front when he's supposed to be the primarily the crap. Wait, what's the word for that? Breadwinner, and he's been lacking on that front. Yeah, you won't probably call it financial abuse, but for the lack of a better word, yeah, that can fall under financial abuse. The guy's been inconsistent. He's been keeping a job to make sure that the household is stable to provide security for this woman. Yeah, if he's been inconsistent for X amount of years, yeah, granted, he's been abusing the woman. It's been proven that on more than one occasion. Yeah, divorce, fair. Yeah, guy shouldn't be putting his hands on a woman. He been assaulting the kids, or he find out he's in some kind of criminal activity that is putting the livelihood of the woman and the potential children in danger. Yeah, granted. See, those are legitimate reasons that instantly grant divorce, because he's putting the relationship and the livelihood of the woman and potential children in danger. That any reasonable dude would look at that. Yeah, granted, that dude's a freaking psycho. Get rid of him. But none of this vague crap. That's what, like, most guys cannot stand. You give these vague reasons to these girls to exploit infinitum based off whatever feelings they might have X amount of years in the future. Take that away, or at least put in a caveat so they don't have no incentive to get that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow they are just counting days to claim. Like, no. You made a commitment, you stick to it unless this, that, and a third happens. I think that needs to be, put in place. So at least more guys will be like, oh, okay, so she just can't just off rip leave me and take half my stuff. I have to, do these critical things that is clearly wrong that I know as a man I'm not gonna ever do, but if I do, yeah, if she leaves, yeah, I can't argue with it. I may not be like a woman beater, but if I lack X amount of years with a stable job that can't maintain the household that put her in an unsafe situation, then yeah, if she chooses to leave me, perfectly understand, because that dude should have make sure to have his like stuff in order before a marriage comes into play. If that is the case, that's that idiot's fault.
Marriage because you wanted to hurry up and get married because you felt behind in life and your family was pressuring you, or your friends were getting married around you, and you had to follow the model of, oh, I'm in my late 20s, early 30s, I need to just hurry up and get married and have a kid, start a family, or yeah. It's the recipe for disaster, and we're seeing that in our own parents. We're seeing that in Gen X. We're seeing that in all these boomers getting divorced and hating their lives. So buddy's got a point. I'd rather be single, die alone, than be trapped in this marriage or be with somebody who I don't want to be with. There's so many people out there right now that are with their wife, with their girlfriend, purely just because they had an accidental offspring and they hate their life. Their whole life is structured around hatred for each other that they just suppress.
Liberty Bibbity. That's my name. Your name's Liberty Bibbity? You.
Come on. It's sad, but it's an actual reality. There's people out there that have just settled. They say, you know what? I don't even like this person, but I whatever. And then years later, they're just unhappy and they want to get a divorce. They're just like, they venture different things, or like they just like low-key hate each other. It's a problem. So he got some points.
I think this is becoming more of a man's view in this day and time.
Agreed.
My son is 18, and I was like, you don't want to have a girlfriend? He's like, I don't want to invest time and money and everything in a girl that I don't want to marry that's been with all my friends.
I don't think people realize this is going to become extremely common, where men, like generally speaking, in their nature, don't really need other people with them. I mean, I can go to church. I have my boys at church. Like, that's my community.
Yeah.
I don't need to have a wife. I definitely want one, but I don't need it. Whereas women in general, psychologically, sociologically, they need that partner. And when we find women who are single in their 50s and 60s, they are crushed.
Yeah, be sure to subscribe, because I'm going to have a video on why men choose to stay single. And then another video talking about the people that get divorced later in life, because that is interesting in that men are low-key fine being alone for life. There's a lot of great men in our nation's history who have done really cool things that are notoriously been single, didn't have kids, didn't have a wife. Like, that does exist. But even then, you have a lot of men who self-delete, and you have a lot of women who are on like a laundry list of meds. When really, I think it all boils down to just being real. Just being real with yourself, what you want, not being petty, not being catty, just keeping it 100. But so many people like claim they keep it 100 and they don't. Claim, they like complain about our society, but then they're actively participating.
Where are you going to meet men?
Right.
And I said, I'm not going anywhere to meet men, meaning I'm not leaving my house and deciding where I'm going and what I'm doing based on if I'm going to meet men there or not. However, with that being said, I then told her my list of places I go and I have gone where I've had success.
And just to reiterate, I think if you have children before they get up in age where they are able to start dating or whatever, avoid that. Set them up, with potential, like if you have family friends, they have they come from good stock, and have some kind of conversation. Hey, I have a son, I'm raising him to be a proper gentleman or whatever like that. By the time he gets, in his mid-20s, he's gonna be probably set up with a decent job. But I want to make sure he's properly set up in the dating when it comes to in a relationship. I know it might seem a little controlling, but you need to probably just like you set up a college fund, you gotta set up a marriage situation for your kid. If you know a good friend of the family, raising children, and you meeting them, and it's like, I think hey, your daughter should meet my son because he is got a good job and all this other stuff, and I know your family, we know your family, I know your daughter, and you raised her right. These two should link up so we can because I know that she probably haven't dated, and my son hasn't have any luck with ladies, or at least have not dated yet. We should collab them together, at least set them up on a date, so that way we have everything properly set. That's why we had arranged marriages for such a long time, up until the modern era starts springing up. During ancient times, that was always a thing. Send your children up for marriage and get that out the way, because letting them choose, especially letting women choose, has not been beneficial. Because if women were smart when they're choosing of men, they would have 80 to 90% success rate. They have not. It's like, if women were smart in their decision making when it comes to men, they would have probably one or two bodies in between each other ever since the 60s. They have not. They've been almost always choosing horribly, racking up body counts until eventually they end up finding a dude. Even then, some of them end up divorcing them after X amount of years or whatever. It's like, no, we need to avoid that stuff to make sure there's long-lasting marriages and building of families and communities. Like, I am vehemently a proponent of arranged marriages at this point. I can see why it was such a good idea. Because the dating pools suck, and women suck at choosing men. Because there are horrible men out there in the world. Any men can acknowledge that. That's why men are the ones that end up choosing the wives or girlfriends choosing the boyfriends and potential husbands for the women growing up in their families, just to avoid, like, here he comes from good stock. He's not crazy. He's built something for himself. He's strong, capable. Like, here, go with him. Build up love. I know it kind of sucks the romance out of it, but you'll build up love with this guy. I know it's something that you would choose, but trust and believe, you don't want to sit there and choose on your own, because we tried that experiment. It sucked for women. It sucked for men for the most part too, but it definitely sucked for women, because y'all end up with horrible baggage that's affecting you emotionally and mentally. Cannot choose. We tried that. Y'all suck at it. So, like, that's just my idea, because, like, it's too many examples of girls picking poorly, or at the very least not allowing, before getting sexually involved, having these guys meet the men in their family that they respect the opinions of, to look at this guy and judge, and then go to the girl to say yay or nay, so they can avoid a potential body count and any kind of psychological damage.
Meeting men, so I'm going to tell you. Number one is the gym, and ladies, I hate to say this to you.
And it's not saying it's a 100% success rate, but I'm saying it's a better success rate compared to leaving it up to individuals, especially leaving it up to women, because their decision making when it comes to men has been piss poor.
You're not going to meet men in Pilates.
Yeah.
You're going to have to either
because they choose bad boys over the so-called lames. You know, they begging for the lanes when they're past their prime.
Some boot camp related or run clubs. That's another great one. Another great place to meet men is events, sporting events, concerts, any sort of event.
And this is applicable, honestly, to straight men, gay, bi, don't matter. This is great advice, great tips to where to meet people. But again, you have to be willing to approach somebody, and you need to be willing to be approached. You have to make it obvious, be more open, be inviting, learn how to carry yourself, walk with your chest high, smile, scan the room, like learn how to operate as a human, like learn how to be an inviting, welcoming, warm human that wants to be approached. If you just walk around with like a frown on your face, hat on, AirPods in, like, of course you're not being approached. Of course someone's looking at you like, ugh. Like, look good. Don't dress like a bum. Not saying you have to have it all put together. You can make, again, you give me $100 budget, I can make you a very good wardrobe. Like, I'm not saying have it all put together, but like, damn, don't look crazy, because you yourself wouldn't want crazy. So what the hell are you going outside for? Mismatched Crocs, high top, tie-dye socks, some non-matching basketball shorts, and an old raggedy t-shirt, and a hat that don't match the fit. You look a fool. Clean up. Do something, especially if you want to be in the market. You need to fix up your image.
Events, amazing. Another one, hobbies. Get into hobbies that you actually enjoy, because if you meet someone doing it, that means they like the hobby that you enjoy too.
Get into
that's
it.
An automatic connection. So like,
could be talking about how these autistic ass people finding love, how these nerds finding love, this and that. They're at the events. They're finding people doing the things that they love. That, like, it's as simple as that. Like, they go to the damn game rooms and the game nights and the little events. Like, they are out. So all these people, how are these people finding love? They're being talkative. They're going out the house. Some people be so rude and so mean and so castrating to these people in society that are not neurotypical, or like, just not the standard guy. Whole time they're more talkative and social than you. You sitting in your house on the game 24/7, you in and out, not going out, not doing shit with your life whole time. These people out here in these streets going to they're having a game night, they're going to their own little like raves, on little music nights, they're meeting people, they're talking, they're at libraries, festivals, Comic-Cons, they're doing their damn thing, networking and talking to each other. So like, do the same thing, go out and do that.
for me, it's golf. In general, I try to avoid meeting people in nighttime settings where there's alcohol involved. I would much rather meet someone during the day where no one's drinking and we're doing healthy activities. So those are all the places that I've had success meeting men. But ladies, for the love of God, please do not leave your house thinking to yourself, where should I go today to meet a man?
No. If you want to find someone organically, make yourself open, put yourself out there and do things that you enjoy and communicate there. And ladies, talk too. I'm like, again, this is coming from a gay man, so if I guess easier said than done, I don't know, but I don't understand this thought process that a woman can't approach a man. Why the man got to do every damn thing? Y'all want to talk about equal rights? Well, then act like there's equal rights. Man up and talk to somebody. Shit. Oh, I saw a really cute guy at the gym. Did you tell him he was cute? Did you go up and talk to him? Are you dumb? Like, say something. I don't understand. I don't get that part of women. I don't. Like, and I'm not even trying to be like hateful, like, oh, I hate women, but like realistically, y'all want love, go find it too. I'm not saying get on one knee and propose to the man, but I'm saying if you see a fine ass man in the gym and you're a woman, what you should probably do, and will probably work out for you, you politely walk that happy ass up, go over to that fine ass man. I'm gonna put the woman on game too. I get the man some game, give the woman some game. You see a fine man in the gym, right? He's sitting there pumping the muscles, which I have been working out a little bit more, you know. You see him pumping his muscles, you walk up to him. You say, hi, excuse me, are you single? That will make a man nut on sight. If you are a woman and you walk up to a man, tap him, are you?
And it'll be a lot more 100% success rate for women than it is on the flip side, because it's a 50% chance a girl might legit be single and be receptive of the approach coming from a guy. As on the other end, women approach men, and the lady is single and she's approaching a guy, and she will get that number 100% of the time. She will get that number. It's like, you know, even the best of guys, you know, it's a numbers game when it comes to trying to get a girl's phone number to secure a date. You have to go through 10 girls just to get a couple of numbers, where a girl can go through 10 guys and get 10 numbers. So girls, you're going to have to shoot your shot. You will not get turned down. Unless the only time you'll probably get turned down by a guy is if the guy is gay or he's in a serious relationship. That was only 2 times a guy will legit turn you down, no matter how good looking you are. So your success rate is very high. Just put on your big girl panties and approach the guy if you find him attractive.
Single? Immediately, just a mess everywhere. Do that. Say, excuse me, are you single? And they say no. Okay, thank you. I just want to say you're really attractive. Walk away. They say yes. Say cool. Well, I think online dating sucks, and I think you're really attractive, and I would love to do my workout with you. You train me for a little bit, and then like we go do something after if you're down, or tomorrow. Girls. I'm telling you right now, if you approach a man in these sober settings, in a gym, at a little lounge, maybe not really sober, like just make sure they're not plastered, a gym, a club setting, whatever it may be, and you are that bold, he will wife you up because he knows there's no games. Women, if you just approach a man and just say, hey, I hate online dating and I think you're really attractive and it'll be really nice to get to know you more because I really like how you take care of yourself here in the gym. I think you're really attractive, and if it works out, it works out, and if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Applebee's 2 for $25. Get 1.
Yeah. There's been a couple of times, there's been plenty of times I just seen pretty girls on a train and I just went there and just shot my shot. Introduced myself, wasn't weird about it, and just struck up a conversation. Didn't work out, but bring him up again. Dr. Orion Turban mentions that he, has to. Oh crap! Just had it. God, the advice. He mentions that you will have the regret of not approaching the girl you thought was attractive will hurt you a lot more than the rejection from the girl that you tried to shoot your shot at. At least you walk away knowing rather than wallowing in the unknown. So, guys, at the very least, you can walk away saying like, at least I tried. That way, there's no unknown. You'll feel better with the definite no or the definite yes rather than the unknown. So you got to shoot your shot. Take solace in the fact that you at least know.
Child, go on out there and do something like that, please, because that will change your life. We went through a variety of thoughts and opinions all on this date.
Okay, we'll end the video there because it's like it was already a long video. It's already at the 2-hour marker. I knew it was gonna be a long video, but I wanted to talk about this for a hot minute. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think of that, and do you have advice on how guys should approach women out there in real life? You know, in terms of trying to get the girl's number, you know, so that way they can avoid certain pitfalls in engagement. Leave a comment below, and I'll catch you all on the next one.